Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and we're looking at the chart that's upcoming. We have Mars is going to be in a T square, Mars and Saturn. Let me just get my pointer. So what we have is we have Mars opposition to Saturn, and then we've got also Saturn is square to Uranus here, and Uranus is also square to Mars. So what we have is that when we have a T square, basically what's happening is that it stimulates drive and courage, but it also creates tension and conflict. And this, with the Mars there, it can be very action orientated as well. But also when we look at the archetype of Aries, it's really a bit warlike. It can be anger, it can be rage, but it can also be pioneering. And, there can be violence with that here. When we think that that's opposition to Saturn up here, and that would, basically that Mars, it takes 2 years to move around the chart. So it would be interesting to go 2 years back and see what was going on then. This is the beauty of solar fire, that we can push that chart backwards and forwards rather quickly. But with the idea that we've got the Mars square Uranus, and on, if we look at Mars squaring Uranus, and this is, responsible for eccentricity, individualistic, and also where we want to be really independent as well. And it can also be, marginal in religious groups, and also not religious groups, politics, where we're marginal in politics as an example. And we don't want to, we just want to be individuated and follow our own path. It's breaking free of limitations. And with Mars there, there's a desire to push forward, and we want to move forward with Venus, actually, which is our inner needs going on here as well, which I think Simon Vorster, I was watching Raising Vibrations, a brilliant astrologer that I've learned so much from. He mentioned that this is a balsamic phase coming up with the Venus approaching Mars there. And then when we look at the Saturn aspect, as you can see, the Saturn is opposition to Mars, and we begin to see that we know that Saturn is currently retrograde, and Saturn is also to do with restriction. So we've got restriction, breaking free of limitations, and then we got where we want to push forward and be the pioneer. And this is going on the 1st of July. This is a UK chart, and this is 1:30 our time in London, and that basically that would be earlier in the day in New York, and even earlier in California. But we're feeling this already, so there could be a lot of anger being out there. Definitely, I saw that tonight. I had to pop out to get something, and I saw two people having a bit of a fight in the street. Not fight, but it was just interesting to watch, knowing what the planets are doing and watching how people can get out of hand with this aspect. But the Mars opposition Saturn is, this trait is not very constructive, because we want to finish things that we have started, or maybe unable to finish things that we have started, because Saturn is restricting us. So this maybe could be to do with lockdowns, maybe, particularly in the UK. We're supposed to be coming out of lockdown finally in July, but we can see that, people are very frustrated, and this is not just in the UK, it's other countries also. But some countries have moved ahead. So it's just interesting to see how different, globally we're dealing with this. It can also be with the opposition that we, want to give up quickly as well, that we see obstacles, and the obstacles, can make us feel weakened as well. That can reduce our stamina with that, because Mars is the libido, not just the sexual libido. It's the psyche, the libido of the psyche. And clearly, many times when we want to achieve something, it will start in the mind, but then we will move through with physical acts to get things done. Saturn is restriction, and it's teacher, karma, and it's also patriarchy, because Saturn rules Capricorn, And we also know that Uranus is also tied in there with the Capricorn aspect as well. So Uranus breaking free of limitations, we'll see how that goes. But also the other one I wanted to look at was the Saturn square Uranus is responsible that for us, it's where our principles, where they can be chaotic. So again, there can be chaos with them, created with the Saturn square to Uranus. And it's possible that we have also, a good sense of order with that Saturn squaring, because squares aren't all bad. It's like tension can really push us forward and make us, it's like going to the gym, you work out, you pick up a weight, you pick up a 5-pound weight and you begin to work your arms. It's like, it's a painful thing. It's like the being restricted as well, that you've got to work out if you want that. It's like a way of looking at restriction. Like if I want to be fit, then I've got to do something about it. So you're restricted to having to do something, but at the end of the day, you can break free and having a healthier, stronger body. I know that's a bit of a strange way of maybe looking at it, but that's what came to mind. It's also where there can be a lot of strict stuff going on with that Saturn squaring Uranus. And also there can be a lot of rigid type behavior and looking down on others as well, and looking down on other people. So we've got to watch that for that. The other thing that I thought with this chart, if you look at it, so you can see that the Mars is, I wanted to see if I can just run through actually this day, the 1st of July. So Saturn square Uranus, Neptune is sextile to Pluto. So there's some nice stuff going on in this chart as well. We've got the node, North Node sextile to Pluto. So we've got the North Node, which is in a sextile to, hang on a minute, not Pluto. North Node sextile to Venus. There you go. Venus on these, it's in a sextile, and that's applying. And then we've got the node is also sextile to Mars. That was the point. So you can see there. So it's not all doom and gloom, but we've also got Chiron squaring the sun at the moment. We've got Chiron, you can see here, square to the sun, and that's also moving on in as well. So we can see there's a bit of tension around our wounding. Also on that day that Chiron will be conjunct the moon coming up here. Can you see that there? The moon and Chiron. So again, the wounding. So whatever's going on around here, we just want to watch where that's happening for us. Collectively, it works out as it works out, but within our own personal lives, depending on the houses it falls in. We've also got Chiron sextile to Saturn as well. You see Chiron here, sextile to Saturn, exact. And we've also got Chiron is trining Mars. So if you could take Chiron here and you look right down here, you've got a trine to Mars. So there's support there. But what we just want to make sure is that we're not being, a bit crazy and sort of jumping ahead of the game. We want to take it easy and slow down a little bit. And try not to, try and have a week that's easy, plan it. We've got our consciousness, which gives us free will, whatever's going on. We can take time and think about things, but sometimes with Mars, we'll just flip off the handle because that Aries energy is primal, and it's where we think we're superhuman as well. And sort of the narcissism of I've got a special destiny, and and that can create desires and anger and rage, and it's to do with our identity and freedom. With the Uranus being I would say the focal point here, it will be the focal point in the T-square. And if we look that it's in Taurus, and what does Taurus, Taurus is to do with our survival, it's to do with self-sufficiency and security. It's also stagnation. It's ourself as a resource. Taurus, and Uranus is there, breaking free of limitations. All adds up, integrated. It's our values. Taurus is also to do with beauty and patience and self-esteem and our personal worth and procreation and fertility. And it can also be where we feel shut down, and it's to do with the body, the pleasure, and also materialistic, landowner, farmer. So this is to do with food as well, it's to do with the land. So, we want to break free of limitations. So for the next week ahead, let's take this chart forward, and then I'll show you where this is falling on my chart so you can understand where to look on your chart. I'm going to go forward by days. So we can see that's 12 there, 12 opposite exactly. That's 12, 20, 12 degrees 20, and that's 12 degrees 20. And we've got here, we've got the Uranus, which is 13 degrees coming up to 14. So watch here, we're going to go forward by days. This is the 1st of July. This is the 2nd, 3rd, and then it becomes in an exact square with Uranus. And then we got, but it's still in opposition. And then we go forward again, 4, and it becomes 14 degrees. And the 5th of July, it's 14, 15 degrees. And then it begins to move off. So it will begin to move off Uranus, and it will begin to move off of Saturn. But we do know we've got some support. So there you go. That's the 11th of July there. You can see that it's out, you know, it's moving out of orb. So now, if we go and look at my chart, so you can see for me, this chart is spotlight. Here you go. So this chart is for today, which is the 30th of June here, for me. And what we have is that we have the chart. So what we do is look at where Mars is. We know that the focal point is Uranus, which is here. So for me, it's in my 6th house. And then I've also got Saturn, Mars opposing Saturn. So this is just literally moving, for me, that Saturn is retrograde, and it's just moving back into my 2nd house, which are my values and my needs. 2nd house is values and needs. And it's in Aquarius, and then it's going back to 6 degrees, actually. It will until the end of November, I believe. And then what's going to happen, so I would be looking at, it's just in my 8th house. So this is shared resources, but it's literally going into my 9th here. And we know that Saturn is going back into my 2nd. So you would really look at what's going on, and knowing the focal point is here. This is to do with my work. So we would look at what else Uranus is doing in my chart. And if I look at the ruler of my 6th house, the ruler of my 6th house is Venus, and Venus is in the sign of Aries for me. So, you know, it's really, anyway, I say, you know, maybe you don't know if you don't know astrology, but it's really beautiful to understand our own psyche and the way that we, you know, we can develop through understanding our chart and get to objectify ourselves. I would tell you that the node trine Saturn, so if we take the node, right now the North Node, and we see that Saturn's there, this is in a trine at the moment, which is applying. And that's very positive because it's, you know, helps us to keep us focused on overcoming challenges in our lives. So the fact that we have that, if I go back to the emanated chart, and we can see, spotlight, we can see that that North Node is trine to Saturn. So we take Saturn up here, and we can see that, you know, that it's been trine for a while, but in the fact actually, because that's going retrograde. So let's look at this. We're going to go days ahead. This is and we'll get a naps when that hits 10 degrees actually. Let's take Saturn back. There you go. So then it's 9. So we want to go back further. They're sort of dancing with each other, because then it goes 8. So they're dancing with each other. That's in a trine ongoing actually, which looks quite good for us. So it's not all doom and gloom, and we will move forward and we will move out of this situation. If there's anything else you've seen on this chart that you want to make note of in the video below, then do. And also if you've got any questions, put them below as well, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.